Have you ever felt unsure about your future? Like you didn't know how you were going to get where you wanted to be? That's how I felt at the beginning of this project. I was unsure about my strengths and ability to pursue the career I wanted. But through research, reflection, and a conversation with a professional, I've gained a clearer understanding and a clearer picture on how I will get there. For this project, I focused on two career paths: a short-term position as a library assistant and a long-term goal of becoming an entrepreneur, specifically a lead in development. I chose these roles as they're both realistic goals of mine. They also showcase two different stages of life and two different stages of my career, where I am starting now and where I want to be in the future. A huge factor in me finding my strengths was my opportunity to speak with Nancy Guman Chin, the Vice President of Development at my mom's company, Burke RNG. Burke RNG focuses on creating renewable energy by utilizing waste. And while talking with Nancy, I wasn't only able to gain insight on the industry, I was also able to gain insight on the path she took to be where she is today. Nancy taught me that your path to your career isn't going to be straight the entire way. Nancy's story is she had originally been studying fashion at school. It wasn't until she took an environmental science class as an elective that she was interested in the subject, and then she soon became passionate about the matter and later studied it for her undergrad. One of the biggest takeaways from Nancy and I's conversation was that it's okay not to have everything figured out right away. Instead, you need to stay curious and willing to explore. Another important lesson I learned from Nancy was the value of putting yourself out there. She emphasized how important it is to make sure you make yourself known, you build relationships, and you show people what you're capable of. And her advice really stuck with me. It reminded me that success isn't just about how smart you are or about how skilled you are. It's about confidence and the way you present yourself. This idea was reinforced when I was creating my LinkedIn profile. I've always thought of LinkedIn as another social media app like Facebook or Instagram, and nothing special. As I started building my LinkedIn profile and portfolio, LinkedIn started suggesting me new connections, and I realized how great of a networking tool it really is. There's also a lot of great career content on LinkedIn that people share and create, making it a well-rounded and useful site. Through this project, I realized that I need to work on two main things: putting myself out there and learning how to speak more professionally. I often struggle with finding the balance between being myself and maintaining a professional tone, especially in formal situations. This project allowed me to reflect on how I come across in emails and interviews, and how I can still show my personality while being taken seriously in a professional setting. I've learned that professionalism means to be intentional with how I present myself. Now, through this project, I'm also more aware of how my appearance is a part of my nonverbal communication. As an incoming honors business student at Loyola University Chicago, I will be interacting with a ton of industry speakers during our weekly seminar, and I plan on dressing professionally instead of wearing the typical college uniform of hoodies and sweatpants. This is one way that I will be intentional with the way that I present myself, and I will make sure that I stand out. When it came time to build our professional portfolio, I relied heavily on Chapter 8 of our textbook. I followed it to create my resume, my cover letter, and my personal branding statement. I also found the examples and quizzes in the textbook helpful for writing professional emails and communicating more effectively. A specific example of how I utilized Chapter 8 of our textbooks was when I was selecting a job listing. I wanted the assignment to serve me purpose in the future, so I picked a job working on campus. This job is a job that I plan on applying for in the near future. In our textbook, it states, you need to ensure that your cover letter and resume make a positive first impression. So, with that, I knew I had to stand out from the rest. That is how I created my cover letter, specifically tailored for this job. And hopefully, I'll get the job. To anyone who is exploring similar career paths, or just to any college student, I would say, try new things. Nothing is going to fall in your lap. You need to take initiative and explore. You need to talk to new people, try new things, take risks, and don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. There are so many possibilities out there, you just have to be willing to look for them. And finally, don't underestimate the value of professional communication, as it is one of the biggest things that sets you apart from others, especially early on in your career. Even those small improvements in how you speak, the way you write, and the way you carry yourself, these things can make the biggest difference in how other people see you. Thank you so much for watching.